Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings today. Many people have been talking about what happened in Kenya, and there are haphazard, information on the location and all of that. And right now, the brother of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has decided to place some demands before the federal government before they continue with the case at hand. And you're going to see some of the demands which they have put fought before the government. We're going to be looking at that. But before we do that, if you're not subscribed to our channel, just hit the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you get notification anytime we publish our videos. The family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of indigenous people of Biafra, has again accused the federal government of perpetuating illegality by the manner in which their brother was brought back to Nigeria. In a release by his younger brother Kanunta Kanu, the family, while accusing the federal government of involvement in illegality in the Kanu's matter, insisted on knowing the exact location from where their brother was intercepted as alleged by the Nigerian government, and how come no clarification has been given up until this date. The family insisted that the action of the federal government amounted to legality, saying that you cannot put illegality on illegality and expect it to stand. The release queried why the federal government of Nigeria has failed to produce before the Federal High Court Abuja clarification on how Kanu was renditioned to Nigeria. The family also expressed shock at the approach of the trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, to the matter, as they threatened that if the court failed to adhere to constitutional law, they would be compelled to invoke the prima facie evidence against the federal government. The IPOB leader's family lamented that the President Muhammadu Buhari led administration has bluntly failed to provide clarification on the process deployed in renditioning the freedom fighter. The question the family is still asking the federal government of Nigeria is, why is it that clarification has not been given on how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned to Nigeria? We want to know, like the federal government said, where was he intercepted from and how come no clarification has been given up until this date? Describing the process as implemented by the federal government and the court as a travesty of justice, the family who recounted that Kanu was arrested in 2015 on 7-count charges, disclosed amidst consternation that the said charges had been expunged, whereas Kanu's co-defendants were still answering those previous charges. Therefore, anybody or any court assigned to try this case, the family considered that as a travesty of justice. What has taken place over his rendition is illegal. Therefore, any court here intending to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will also be considered as illegality. Therefore, you cannot put illegality on illegality. It would also interest you to know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in 2015 and 7-count charges on 7-count charges. Would you also agree with us that as we speak with you today, those charges have been expunged and his co-defendants are still answering those previous charges? So what happened to those previous charges in which he was detained for? Now, as we speak, the federal government, in their usual style, amended Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's charges. They came back with 15 amended count charges against him, and it will also interest you to know that until this moment, there is no single evidence before the court. However, we are worried with long adjournment taking place in Binta Nyako's court over Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. These delay tactics must stop. Those were the words of the family. And they have made some demands, to the federal government. And one of such demand is for clarification to be given on how Mazi Nnamdi, the process of renditioning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria, but because that has not been considered, you understand? And they also want to have an understanding on how they increase the charges from what it was to 15. For them, that was just a way of, playing down on, the fundamental human right of Nnamdi Kanu. And also they are calling for evidence. Show us evidence that you are using to put all of this. I think the issue of evidence will be solved as we make progress into the case, though one of the things that one of the issues that Nigerians are condemning globally is the fact that his case has been adjourned too much severally, if that's in good English. But what I mean there is that severally his case has been adjourned. Sometimes it wouldn't even take them up to 20 minutes. We know the next thing we hear is that the court has decided to adjourn the case. And it's been going on and on like that. There's a lot of fear. Most people believe that he may likely spend the entirety of the 16 months when this administration is still on board, still staying under the nose of DSS, which for many is not interesting. It's a way of not treating him well, which is against his fundamental human right. And this has triggered reactions from Nigerians. We're going to be looking at those reactions and also discuss some of them as they will fold you. The first person here says, what were you expecting from the federal government? Your brother is not the first to suffer this, and it is just a normal lifestyle. The only solution will be a political solution. Another one here says, Nnamdi Kanu must be ready to face the federal government in all ramifications, because the only thing that will salvage him will be political solution. Outside political solution, they can push this case for the next 10 years and he will still remain in DSS custody. Another person here says, with the likes of the senior advocate of Nigeria, I feel that something reasonable will happen in the next sitting. Let's just put our hands and watch what will happen. Another person here says, yes, this issue of rendition back to Nigeria is one case big for the federal government. I feel the senior advocate of Nigeria should call for the due process that was followed that warranted the federal government to rendition him back to Nigeria. And they should also show us pictures on how it all happened. Someone replying there says, do you think the federal government owe you all of that? Another person here says, I knew that this situation will end just like other people's case have ended. I know that the only point and the only time the federal government will release this man will be if he aligns with the political solution process that will be given to him. And we know that maybe his time is up in taking charge of Biafra. I don't think his time is up. If you say that in front of Biafra, they will chew you raw. Because for them, this is just another, way of testing his endurance and his, commitment to the cause of realizing a nation for the Biafran people. I'd like to leave it there. Go to our comment section. Let's interact. You have heard what the brother is calling for. Do you think that in future court cases or court proceeding, all of these will be addressed? Let's interact in our comment section.